And I knew what it meant. It was my ancestors saying we hadn't seen you in a while, because my last visit was the year of return, 2019. And then COVID hit. And I normally did a group trip, and we came to Ghana almost every year from 2014 to 2019. So my ancestors was like, we ain't seen him in 5 years. So I had to get back over here. So when the opportunity arose for me to become a dual citizen of Ghana, something that I never thought would happen, I had to jump at it. So this is a miracle.
I'm currently in a community in Accra called Labadi. This is my first time of coming. I mean, sleeping and waking up here because there's a bigger project ongoing today. The president of the newly elected president will be sworn in today. So I was invited by a friend of mine to come and cover another program, a reggae program another program that will be done today. So this is where I slept. This is an Airbnb. And when I came in, I found a lot of rastas here and some dogs. Anyway, I'm coming away because Ghana, day by day, we are receiving great news about African diasporas who are being given dual citizenship. This is what I love about this place. The place is green. You know, you have all these plants here. That is one thing about the Rasta people. You know, they love. Good morning, brother.
Blessed love.
Everything cool.
Balance.
Straight up. All right, so like I'm coming your way telling you that I read and I saw a video that belongs to DAF. I think that is Diaspora something forum. Okay, so whatever video that I'm going to show you after this episode belongs to these people. I don't own this right to that video. So I saw a video of a lot of African diasporas who are also given their dual citizenship. So this is the second batch of African diasporas who have legally attained a Ghanaian citizenship. And I'm very happy because I need to share that with you. I need to let you know that a lot of things are happening. Ghana is gradually opening up for all of these. Like I told you, it wouldn't take a day because we have our policies, we have what governs the country. So we can't just get up one day and say, oh, because we are all African descent and everybody has to come. It has to be a process. And the first batch of group that was about 560 something had their citizenship, and now another number had their citizenship, which is I think on the 6th or on the 5th of January 2025. So we are picking up, Ghana is picking up. One interesting person that was, that had his dual citizenship is Dr. Umar Johnson. I met him at the Slave River in Asenmanso about 4 years or 5 years ago when he came to Ghana. And I didn't even know him. It was a friend who said, do you know who that guy is? I was like, nah. So I went there, took a video with him. And today he's here. He's gotten his Ghanaian citizenship. You see how the ancestors are working for us. It has to take time. It's a process. During his conversation, he made mention that for the past 5 years, he's been coming to Ghana and going back. And then his ancestors felt that, hey, it's been a long time you came here. We need to give you this. So if you're planning of getting your citizenship, I think it will take time. You just have to accept the fact that it's a process, it's a policy, and one day you would also get it. So watch this video as Dr. Umar Johnson receives his citizenship. He's now a Ghanaian. Yes, a Ghanaian.
This is Dav Speaks, and I have here the legendary Dr. Umar coming all the way from the United States of America. Now, this is a man that needs no introduction of the great work that he's been doing. Dr. Umar, how do you feel, first of all, being on the continent? Because not everyone is able to make it here.
That's a great point. I always feel honored. I always feel overcome with joy. I always feel a great camaraderie with my Ghanaian brothers and sisters whenever I come to Ghana, this being my 5th visit. And of course, I've been to other places on the continent, but I do have ancestry here, and a few other places. So it's always extra special for me. I had a dream about 2 or 3 years ago, in one of the slave dungeons here in Ghana, and I couldn't tell by the dream whether it was Cape Coast or Elmina, but it flashed in my dream. And I knew what it meant. It was my ancestors saying we hadn't seen you in a while, because my last visit was the year of return, 2019, and then COVID hit. And I normally did a group trip, and we came to Ghana almost every year from 2014 to 2019. So my ancestors was like, we ain't seen him in 5 years, so I had to get back over here. So when the opportunity arose for me to become a dual citizen of Ghana, something that I never thought would happen, I had to jump at it. So this is a miracle. It's a dream come true. And one of the reasons I'm wearing the pendant of the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, father of modern Pan-Africanism, who was a tremendous influence on the works and life of Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, is Mr. Garvey never had a chance to come to Africa in the 1920s, 100 years ago. The colonial powers never allowed Garvey to come to Africa. So me becoming a citizen today is my way of paying homage to him. It's my way of paying homage to Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was educated in Pennsylvania, not far from where I was educated in Pennsylvania as well. And, also today is symbolic as well, because on this day, January the 6th of 1820, the American Colonization Society sent 89 free Africans to Sierra Leone. It was the first organized immigration effort from the United States. And that happened today, 205 years ago. So I don't think that is a coincidence. Repatriation is central to Pan-Africanism. And me being a Pan-Africanist, I think this is just another step in the right direction. I believe that the 21st century is the century of Pan-Africanism. It's time for all of us around the diaspora to join forces, to lock horns, and put being African first. We put our religion above being African for the longest time. We put our professional affiliations above being African for the longest time. We put our tribal and ethnic affiliations above being African for the longest time. And now it's time to be African first and everything else second. So I thank the government. I thank the outgoing president, because this was an initiative of his, the Office of Diasporan Affairs. Without that, this would have never happened. So thank you, sir, for the wonderful work you did. And I'm sure that Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is smiling down from heaven to see Dr. Umar earning his citizenship today.
I can see how ecstatic and over the moon you are. In your opinion, what do you think the future hold in terms of diaspora, integration? Ghana had the year of return in 2019, and now we have beyond the return, and now there's a citizenship. What do you think the future hold in terms of the diaspora integration?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, because early in the 1800s, the 19th century, most of the grandfathers of Pan-Africanism saw Liberia as the promised land for Pan-Africanism. So when we look at the Honorable Marcus Garvey, when we look at Henry Highland Garnett, when we look at Alexander Crummell, most of them saw Liberia, Edward Wilmot Blyden, they saw Liberia as the promised land for Pan-Africanism. But since the independence of Ghana, March 6, 1957, with Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, there was a transitioning from Liberia to Ghana as the new home for Pan-Africanism. And to your question, this citizenship initiative, this year of return initiative, it's going to bring a lot of Africans in the diaspora back home. Not just the American Africans, but we can't forget the Central American Africans. There was slavery there. We can't forget the South American Africans, Suriname and Brazil. There was slavery there. We can't even forget our Canadian African brothers and sisters. There was slavery there, although it ended before the States. And of course, throughout the Caribbean, we can't forget them, because you have just as many Africans in the Caribbean collectively as you have in the United States. So when I speak for the entire African diaspora. Let's not forget the ones in Australia, because they even had a slavery there. So when we talk about coming back home, we're coming back home from all around the world. As I always say, the entire planet is the African kingdom, but the continent is the royal palace, and Ghana is the royal throne.
And Ghana is the royal throne. Undoubtedly, Ghana is the gateway to Africa. And we'd like to say you are welcome. We'd like to say Akwaba, and that means welcome. This is where you can truly call home. You are not an African because you were born in Africa. You are an African because
Africa was born in you.
And this is how we draw down the curtains for this session.